Hola chicos. Okay, so in this class, in this video, we are going to look at the letter. This is May, June 2026, paper 2. Your family has just returned from spending a day at the beach and you want to tell your Colombian friend about it. Write a letter you sent to your friend in which you include 1. Details about where you went, when, with whom, and for how long. A description of the beach and surroundings, activities that you did during the day, and where your family is hoping to visit next and why. So, when preparing for the letter, it's always important to note, regardless of the letter, the majority of the time they are going to ask you about details of something. It can be what it is, it can be when, it can be where, it can be how, it can be why, with whom, for how long. So these things you should be prepared or you should be prepared to talk about these things, knowing how to express date, how to express going with someone or doing something with someone, why, things like that. They are always going to ask you for that for a description of something, whether it's a person, a place, a thing. So you should know your adjectives or any other phrases that you can use to describe things. They may ask you about something that you did, so it's very important that you know your preterite and your imperfect tense when you're narrating. And then they're always going to ask you something about the future. The last part is always about that. So it's important that you review your future tense or your conditional tense. So my recommendation for letter writing would be your 5 main tenses: present, past, both past tenses, which would be preterite and imperfect, future and conditional. It's also wise to know your subjunctive. And if you don't know the subjunctive, at least know phrases that you can use. For students who can't master the subjunctive, learn phrases. For students who are able to master the subjunctive, use the subjunctive at least twice. And I suggest that you at least know to recognize it. Okay, so let's get into the letter. So first we're going to start with the date and the opening greeting. So you can say something like Trinidad. So I have that on the left-hand side, right-hand side, sorry, of my page. Then here you start off, querido Juan. So you want to start off with something very simple, maybe something like, ¿Cómo estás? Now, all these videos I do, I try to keep it simple because each student has a different learning ability. So in my classes, I usually give different samples. I give different ways to open. But for these videos, as many of you all are looking at these videos from different schools, different abilities, your Spanish may not be at the level it should be at, or you're progressing. I suggest that you start simple and then you add where necessary. So I will just go with something, ¿Cómo estás? You want to state something about the person's health or their well-being. So here it gives you the opportunity to include the subjunctive. So espero que te encuentres bien or muy bien, full stop. Then you want to say why you're writing the letter. So maybe you could say something like, and of course I give different ways as well. Te escribo para contarte sobre un día fantástico em, en la playa, right? And then we could probably use an expression right here. Qué divertido. So the first cue is details about where you went, when, with whom, and for how long. So I would say something like, bueno, mi familia y yo fuimos a la playa, and you can put the name of the beach. I'm just putting Maracas. Is a very popular beach in Trinidad. So fuimos a la playa Maracas el sábado pasado. So this one sentence deals with where, when, with whom, right? So now we're going to talk about for the length of time, how for how long. So we could say something like salimos muy temprano en la mañana y pasamos unas 8 horas ahí. You could even say with my other family, with my friends, but I'm looking at my word limit as well, right? So I want to use some expressions here as well. So maybe we could say something like it was a great day or it was incredible. Um, maybe it was marvelous. Okay, fue un día increíble, right? So that is our first cue. Then a description of the beach. So you want to start off by saying, La playa. Normally I skip lines, but I'm not skipping lines because of my space here. So, la playa era preciosa. El agua. So we're describing the beach, the environment, because it's at the beach and the surrounding, right? So we could probably say la playa era preciosa. El agua was muy clara, was very clear. Y había actually, before Bia, I could probably say y tranquila and cool, peaceful. Now, they did say talk about the beach, right? So there are so many things that you can talk about. I'm giving you a lot of words here, but pay attention to the word limit when you are writing. Okay. So we talk about the beach, we talk about the water, we can probably talk about the sun, you talk about the palm trees, you can talk about around you, right? So I'll put a couple of things, right? So like, la playa era preciosa, el agua estaba muy clara y tranquila. You could also say, em, con arena blanca y, okay, I'll put this in a different sentence. La arena era blanca y había palm trees, right? Palmeras muy altas. If you want to say something like cerca de la orilla, right? So near the shore, there are many food stores. You know that normally at Maracas there's a lot of food stores, right? Stalls rather. So cerca de la orilla había muchos puestos Es full food stall de comida that sold, or that was selling rather, que vendían platos. We could say delicious local dishes or delicious food or dishes, platos deliciosos. So we have the description of the beach and the surrounding. Now we're going to talk about the activities that we did there. So we could say, durante el día, nadamos en el mar, jugamos al fútbol en la arena. También comimos el famoso bacon shack. And here's where you could probably say something like estaba para chuparse. Basically, I'm saying it was finger looking good. So estaba para chuparse los dedos. So I'm using an expression here. If you want, you could add something else, like it was a relaxing and fun day for everyone. And then you want to talk about, so we have the activities during the day. Talk about where your family is hoping to visit next and why. El próximo mes, so next month. So where your family is hoping to visit next and why, right? So I'm just saying el próximo mes, mi familia. So you can use espera, es visitar, so hopes to visit, or planeo visitar, or um, we could also say piensa visitar, like intends to visit. So espera can work, espera visitar, hopes to visit. So it says where, right? And why. So we could say el zoológico, porque mi hermano quiere ver los animales exóticos y tomar, o we could say sacar fotos. So here's where I could just say something like, es todo por ahora. Espero que me escribas pronto. And then you sign off. To the end, you say tu amigo, and you just sign your name, Miguel. So this is an example of what you could do. So here we have spoken about the details of the trip. So where, when, with whom, and for how long. We have a description of the beach and surroundings. We have activities, what you did during the day, and where your family is hoping to visit next and why. So just to review, hola, querido Juan, ¿cómo estás? Espero que te encuentres bien. Te escribo para contarte sobre un día fantástico en la playa. Qué divertido. Bueno, mi familia y yo fuimos a la playa Maracas el sábado pasado. Salimos muy temprano en la mañana y pasamos unas 8 horas ahí. Fue un día increíble. La playa era preciosa, el agua estaba muy clara y tranquila. La arena era blanca y había palmeras muy altas. Cerca de la orilla había muchos puestos de comida que vendían platos deliciosos. Durante el día nadamos en el mar, jugamos al fútbol en la arena. También, ok, for here I'll put an E. También comimos el famoso Bacon Shack. Estaba para chuparse los dedos. El próximo mes mi familia espera visitar el zoológico porque mi hermano quiere ver los animales exóticos y sacar fotos. Es todo por ahora. Espero que me escribas pronto, tu amigo Miguel. So this is approximately 130 words. The word limit is 130 to 150 words. That means that you have space to add additional details. Again, as I said, this is a very simple letter to show you how you can touch on the cues, how you can develop the cues without having to worry about a lack of vocabulary or lack of structure, etc. What you could do to enhance this letter is you can add additional details, like maybe when you're talking about the beach, you can add more details. Maybe when you talk about the activities that you do, you can add more details, maybe one more activity or two more. Um, Maybe you can add a little more at the ending, or you could describe the weather. Maybe you can say, or talk about the time. El tiempo fue perfecto. Hacía mucho sol. So when I ask about describing the beach and the surrounding, maybe you can add that. So this keeps with the word limit, right? Like I said, it's 130 words. So if you have any questions, you can message in the chat. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until our next video, adios.